Welcome to Within WordPress, the podcast about all those wonderful people inside the WordPress community that you love. With us today is Rytis from Omnisend. Welcome, Rytis.
Hello, thanks for inviting. Really great to be here with you.
Yeah, happy to have you. For a lot of people going to certainly the the bigger WordCamps, they may have seen you and or your booth, your Omnisend booth. But for those who have no idea who you are and what it is that you do exactly, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. And even for those who maybe saw our booth, but maybe did not have an opportunity to stop by
Well,
and then to familiarize themselves. Say, Omnisend is a marketing automation platform that helps mainly those who sell online, either physical goods on WooCommerce mainly, or courses like on LMS solutions, etc. Digital goods. So we help communicate with the existing customers. So basically, usually what happens if you sell something online, you put so much money into marketing, you invest a lot of money. Usually the first transaction is ROI negative. You lose money when your
yeah,
customer buys for the first time, which is, so where is the business then? The business is because your customers are repeatedly getting back to purchase again and again, and lifetime value is really what drives your successful business. So you need a tool to communicate with those who already purchased from you. And Omnisend is a tool to communicate via email, SMS messages, web push notifications, and automate a lot of this communication. So you can do it manually, just send newsletters. Probably this is the most familiar term, how we market in general, how people name it. So just newsletters, or you can send like triggered messages, the right message and the right time for the right person, just based on the person's behavior. So yeah, so that's what we do as a tool, as an Omnisend. I'm co-founder and CEO of this company. So as every CEO does a little bit of everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the wearer of many hats, we call that.
Yeah, that's true.
So you co-founded this? How long ago?
10 years ago, yeah. So Omnisend is celebrating 10 years anniversary this year. Initially we focused on like mainly a little bit like other ecosystems. We are kind of, although the company itself is 10 years, but like on WordPress, we are rather new. We just 1 year ago or so we started like investing more into WordPress
Yeah.
ecosystem and then community, because we just naturally saw that there is a really great natural traction, and where WordPress as our customer base is growing organically. So we thought, okay, cool. So there are so many online stores who actually run on WordPress and WooCommerce and other plugins as well. And then we should maybe be more active here, as we saw that really can bring value for customers who are on WordPress.
Yeah, I think it's any solution, and anyone that has a solution that generally serves a let's call it a segment of website owners. It'd be silly to ignore the 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 stupendously large percentage of WordPress sites out there.
True.
Uh,
But there are some silly people, as we've had for quite many years, really not kind of putting enough like attention and effort, etc. But the risk of competition, of course, and among platforms as well, on which you build
yep.
websites and online stores, etc. And others were doing really well for us, and we focused maybe too much, maybe a bit too long, but I completely agree. So that WordPress is huge, and yeah, it's definitely. I'm
I
super
think
happy that we are now way more active in the community. And
Well, I think it's I've met quite a few of people that work at Omnisend, obviously at WordCamp Europe, WordCamp US. You seem to have a very fun atmosphere among, at least among the people that I've seen. Maybe that's a very personal selection. I don't know, but I'm kind of curious. Have you always worked for the web? Like you said, 10 years ago. So what did you do 10 years before that?
It's a spin-off from digital marketing agencies. So we used to
Okay.
develop websites on WordPress, not on WordPress, etc. And we're just basically selling like hours, creative solutions and development hours. And then from there, yeah, we made a switch, and then it's just, yeah, so made a spin-off as a product. And on the fun part, so Remkus, I mean, you are a fun person, so you join us in our celebration with all those WordCamps. So we're in the same boat here together.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
fair. But I think it's very important, to enjoy the work you do, and especially kind of in like Asia, US, we're European based. Okay, not all of us, but vast majority of the team members you met, so we are European based. But yeah, so all those time zone differences, etc. It's not the easiest thing to be there for few days, very intense event, etc. So why not to have fun?
I agree. But it's nice to see. So there's companies that that visit these WordCamps and they sponsor, and you get a good vibe and everything. But sometimes there's companies and booths and people manning the booth just kind of stand out. And I think I'm trying to give you a compliment here that the crew that I've
Okay.
interacted with so far, just, it's a good vibe. I like it, which is why I was wondering, like, you started as a digital agency,
Yes,
so
many
you
years
actually
ago.
are
Yeah.
quite rare in that you made a full pivot from being
Mhm.
an agency to actually going fully product based, right? I mean, there's
Full
nothing left
product.
of
Yeah.
the
No.
agency, I assume.
No. Yeah. So that was kind of after the launch of the product. So for 2 years, we were both running like still agency activities, and that was the most profitable years of that agency, which is raised prices, etc. Because we understood that, okay, there is a bet. I mean, there was still a probability, and a huge probability of losing and maybe not finding a product market fit with a product, but all the signs were kind of showing that we can succeed.
Yeah.
At the same time, it actually took us 2 years to understand how to monetize the product. So, and I believe everyone who is just like building a product or just launching any kind of business maybe now and is listening to us. So that's probably one of my learnings, that usually you expect it to happen overnight, but it does not happen overnight. And it really takes time. I guess with you had the same experience. I guess you could second that. Yeah, but with
Yeah.
your
So
business, it always takes time. Yeah, and it's more than you expect initially.
yeah, we're having my co-founder and I, Barry. Actually this week we've been talking about pricing. Are we
Mhm.
on the right path for where we want to be and we think the product is worth and all of that, and we're going to add a lot of extra stuff to Scanfully, which means there's a way
Mhm.
that you could say up until this point it's worth that, but once we release these things, it's worth more. Is that an
Mhm.
extra for the existing clients? Yes, no. Do we
Mhm.
create a premium version of it, or and then it's exactly that. We're just a couple of months in, but I don't expect us to be mature enough to say, okay, this is solidified now. This is what it is.
Mhm.
We're 2 years in, 3 years in. That's what we keep in the back of our mind. But yeah, those things are hard. But
Totally agree.
it certainly sounds like you manage, because your team is how large now?
232 people.
That's a lot of
Yes.
folks.
Quite a lot. And things changed over time, and we started in agency times. We were about like 15 people. Few of them left when we pivoted fully to the product, because we just preferred working as a service providers and as agencies and like project based, not a product. Just working with one single product, it has all its advantages and disadvantages, because keep nailing the same product. Sometimes people who have no clue about like how the digital product is being built ask me, well, look, you have like tens of developers. Why do you need them? I mean, you have a product as like a book. Yeah, you wrote a book. Now you go and sell it. Why do you need the writers? And there are tens of developers constantly improving and then changing and etc. So, and building a better and better product each day.
Yeah, I mean, that whole principle of we're done just doesn't
Mhm.
exist. So you obviously have to move into more features, more in-depth features, and all of those things. But a group of 230 people, that's a big group. There's in no way is that a small group.
To have fun with such a group. And by the way, yesterday as we are recording, that's probably okay to say, yeah, but it's the 2nd of October now. So yesterday we tried a new concept, like we called it Pause Day. So basically we invited, as we have this hybrid model. So we have 3 physical offices, 2 in Lithuania, in Europe, 1 is in the United States in Charleston. So we invited everyone to come to the office and to spend day without any work-related meetings at all.
Where?
Just canceled all the meetings and just had a good time together with your colleagues all day in the office. All like the main office in Vilnius was fully packed. I mean, I haven't seen so many people here to work, but yeah, and we just playing football, and Oktoberfest was a topic. So we had some German beer, sausages, and etc. German food. Yeah, so that was kind of a new concept that we tried, and I liked it, and people really enjoyed it. So we could recommend already. I could already recommend for everyone, although we did it only once. We are planning in quarterly cadences, so we do planning on quarterly basis, and we had those OKR. We use OKR as planning methodology, so we had OKR days, but it was more kind of like a formal thing. Okay, that's what we did, that's what we are planning, and we tried kind of to search to look after like more like attractive format, make it less formal. So I think we managed to make it really less formal and to have fun together. So what you are
if they're coming
referring
to the
to?
office and they don't have to work, that certainly sounds very not formal. So
Yeah, and that was an obligation to cancel all the work-related meetings, internal and external as well.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
You said OKR. What is that?
Yeah, objectives and key results. It's methodology for planning, developed by Google some time ago, and yeah, so this is kind of like at least among the companies with whom we have some relationship and friendship. So this is kind of quite popular, and I like this methodology of it's like KPIs ish. It's the same like key performance indicators. It's just more kind of the idea that when you use OKRs planning methodology, not KPIs, you allow yourself to be a bit more ambitious and make moonshots and then plans that you know that you probably will not accomplish 100%, but if you shoot big and you accomplish 70%, you still really do a great job. So yeah, really.
I don't think I've heard of it before. I do like the moonshot. My parents raised me with, if you don't set a goal, you're never going to make it. So
Completely
if
agree.
you don't have anything in mind, like where do you want to do, what do you want to have done at a certain point in time? If you do none of that, how will you measure progress? Like,
There's very like the quote that I love like repeating for people from Alice in Wonderland. Alice was going and the cat in the tree, and then Alice is, and there is a crossroad, the 2 options to go, and then she's asking, so, hello, cat, tell me which route to go. And the cat asks, where you want to go? I don't know. So choose either. I mean, initially have to know where you want to go, and then I can advise you which route to take. So yeah, so completely agree that, setting goals, personal as well as work-related, is always very important.
And if I look back at all the goals that I have specifically set, like this is where I want to go, or this is where I want to be, it's been scarily accurate that you actually got there. Like it's been, like
just not as fast as you expected, I guess.
No,
yeah.
never. So
Never.
I
That's the
remember,
main thing.
I remember like this 15 years ago, I saw a particular car drive I hadn't seen before. Like, that's a really cool car. Looked it up. Oh, that's an expensive car. However, I really like,
Yeah, we got it.
I want to have this car. And I kind of parked it like, I will have this car someday. I don't know. I don't know, forgot
Just
about
build,
it.
even forgot about it.
Yeah,
Nice.
bought it. And
Nice.
like, oh, I remember I was here and then I saw this car And then I remember
Uh-huh.
saying to myself, I want this car. And I'm like, okay, this, it's one of those reminder things, like you did set a goal,
Mm-hmm.
not as specific as you maybe could have done, but you set a goal, and
Mm-hmm.
you are unexpectedly again. So it's, yeah, I very much believe in that sort of alignment, and the end result is a richer experience. I mean, for me, it's
Completely
not
agree.
about you have to set goals because you have to be
Mm-hmm.
ambitious. That's
Mm-hmm.
if you're not ambitious, that's fine. I have no judgment on that. But you can also set goals to make the experience richer.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. And you just upload it to your subconscious. And the example of a car is really great. You upload it, and subconscious does the job, even though you maybe forget about that
yeah,
dream or wish, etc. Yeah, and like Bill Gates once said, and I really love this as well, that people usually overestimate what we can achieve in 1 year, but we underestimate what we can achieve in 10 years.
yeah,
So, okay, now I'm gonna do everything like boom, fast, ambitious, energetic, etc., and just nothing happens. Yeah, look back at the week, nothing happened. But when you look back like 12 months ago or 5 years ago, retrospectively, you see, wow, the progress is just massive. So,
yeah.
so that's always have. I think it's always very important for anyone who, I mean, both in business as well as in personal life, just to have those two perspectives, like really short term, which sometimes could be demotivating and seem like, okay, I'm just as this rabbit going round and around in
Yeah,
my
but
hole.
I also think that it builds a sort of perseverance. Like if you didn't, you'd have less of a design of where you're going. Because I'm imagining you pivoted, you ended up with a company that had a product that had a match to what the market needed, wanted. You then have to, you're kind of forced into looking into, okay, we're here now. How do we get to the next place? Or what does the next place even look like? Um,
True,
you have to design that. Otherwise it's not going to specifically happen. It's just, you know,
true, true.
it,
Completely
it
agree. Do you
becomes
set
one of the
goals?
things.
Do you set like work-related goals in any
Uh,
cadence, more formally, or no? How do you
yeah,
do
so
that?
I journal,
Uh-huh.
and for the, let's call it the larger goals. I don't necessarily journal those, but I envision them very
Uh-huh.
frequently and very complete. So it's a matter of how do I feel, where do I feel it, what are the
Uh-huh.
circumstances around it, what are the conditions I would like this under. Again, if you don't specify, it's just going to happen, and then
True.
great, I have this, but shit, I also have that now. That sort of thing. I try to be as complete as possible, and the more I've done it, the scarier it gets in the accuracy the results are, which is always like,
Mhm.
okay, so what's next? Like you said, if you find 1 year difficult, 5 years may be absolutely perfect, and maybe you
Mhm.
need to raise the bar way higher for the 5 year mark versus the 1 year mark. Yeah, I most certainly do that.
Perfect. What are your goals now? Would you
Oh,
like to share? I mean, you said
there's
prior
there's,
to
there's
us
two I can
going
share.
live, like, okay,
Yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
it a
Yeah.
conversational and two-way. So we're really keen
So
on learning.
there are two things that I can share that, because I generally don't share my goals,
Hmm.
but there's
Okay.
two that I can share that in some way I can, and I already have. So I want to grow Scanfully to the level where we're the go-to solution for anybody wanting to have a full insight into the performance and the health of your site. And that's as
Nice.
wide as you can possibly think it. Uh, but just like Omnisend is exactly the solution for the types of notifications and messages you send out from your platform. There's, for instance, Patch Tech, where if
Hmm.
you security, you're thinking Patch Tech, and there's a whole bunch of companies that work like that. That's what I want to have Scanfully be, and
Okay.
for it to be the solution that everybody thinks of.
Hmm. How's the old name? Nice.
So
Good
that's
ambition.
what I haven't specifically done is connected to this is going to take X amount of years, and that's mostly because we have a really big view of where we want to be and what features we need for that.
Hmm.
And it's the two of us, right? So it'll happen as fast as it'll happen. But once we hit like sort of pivotal moment, we can, like, I'll be more specific in the rest of the impact. So that's one.
Nice. On the
And the other
second
one is
page.
to do with Within WordPress, so the brand under which this podcast and my newsletter operate. The goal is to add a community to that is revolved around learning to use your WordPress tools. So
Okay.
not one specific tool, but generally, how do you build the thing? What tools are you using? I've had a few conversations about this at WordCamp US, and a good example is that everybody knows that at a certain point, it's smart to use some version of version control. Most people will use Git and most people will host at GitHub. But most people also don't know that they have a choice. You can use pull request-based system of version control, but you can also use something that's called Git flow. And each has its benefit and downside. But if you're not familiar with the choices, you're just going to go with whatever is put in front of your face. So most people end up with GitHub and just use the pull request type of thing. But for more complex sites or more features actively developed type of sites, more people working on it type of sites, it makes a lot of sense to have Git flow instead of just, and that's a small example, but there's a whole bunch of tooling that we're using from how to use your local development to how do I get it from local to production. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're all doing in some version, but we're not being really educated on it much. And I really like those things, and I really like building that out. So an educational community, which is revolving around learning how to use our WordPress tools. And I've set an ETA for that by the end of next year to be fully functional and out there.
How many members would you find is a fully functional community?
1,000.
Like, look, okay, nice. Yeah, because WordPress community is like massive, just 1,000 of them. Nice. Okay.
I think the impact starts with probably a few hundred already, but my goal is to have this be a fully functional a community that sort of starts self-sustaining in terms of new subjects and new questions will be asked, and then me just filling them in. And my goal is to not just be me doing the videos. I will plan to hire folks for that, but so those are two goals I'm happy to share.
Perfect. So thanks for sharing. Now everybody knows. I guess people will help you, especially with the community part, joining the community.
I do have one goal that is going to have to be me and just me. But my current deadlift PR is 270 kilos, and I want to bring that to 300.
Okay.
Nobody can help me with that. That's just me.
It's very, very personal.
It's very personal. But I'm happy to share this because I share this with my gym buddies as well, so that's fine.
Okay, now we have accountability partners, people who will remind you.
Yeah, but I'm not connecting a timeline to this.
Okay.
No, we'll see. It's going. It's summer next year. See how close I get. I've had a tennis arm injury for the last 6 months, so that's sort of certainly knocked out of any progress that I had. So kind of got to see what the end of this year is going to bring in terms of progress. Yeah, see progress works.
Yeah, first step is to avoid injuries.
To be healthy. Fine until this year. I think this is literally my first proper injury that sustained very long. Oh, sorry, second. But yeah, it's maybe it's the age. Maybe I'm just getting old and just wanting too much still. I don't know. I'm 51, so is it still feasible? I think it is.
It is.
But if we're talking goals and if we're talking sharing goals, Omnisend moved into the WordPress market 2 years ago.
1 year ago. Yeah, basically last WordCamp US was the first that we just attended as a walk-in attendees and etc. And yeah, just trying to understand the community, really find people who can help us to understand, because WordPress is completely different to other ecosystems that we have experience with.
I would agree.
It's like open source nature, etc. And it's really like it's very friendly, which we really found, like so many great and friendly people that really helped us. So thank you everyone with whom I talked, our teammates talked. and then all the advices that you gave to us, and then they are so invaluable and really to allowed us to avoid certain mistakes, and then to how to say, to take the path that is really in alignment of what WordPress is, how it operates, etc. So
Yeah.
that's it's really good. But at the same time, it's a learning curve for us as well. Still learning.
I was gonna say, how much learning is there still happening in terms of how? I mean, I guess that there's two different things, right? There's the software, the project, and the things that are built inside the
Hmm.
project, whether that's a plugin that you can work with or whatever. You know, WooCommerce technically is a plugin, but it's a whole solution set.
Yes.
So
So
there's
more than a plugin already. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But that's a learning curve on its own, and then you
Mhm.
have the other learning curve of how does this community work? Um, how do you present yourself? Because one of the things I've seen new companies entering the WordPress community or market or whatever you want to call it, uh, and when they're used to a very salesy approach, you're not being much welcomed into the community.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, great that you're here, and maybe you have a cool product, but that approach
Uh,
really doesn't work here. So
yeah. That was kind of like what we were advised as well since very beginning, and like to like really, I see that you like our this approach being fun, being visible, etc. But to be honest, like when we're preparing for our first WordCamp with a booth sponsor, that was this year WordCamp Asia. So
yeah,
we were a little bit like concerned how fun can we be, and and not to be maybe too standing out, etc. Because of the not to look like too pushy to sales, etc. But I think kind of in general I found like people are nice there, and people understand good mood and good vibes, and they really join. And it like in all three WordCamps, I would say, like Asia, Europe, and the US. Although like the audience is different, at least from our learnings a little bit. But still, like everybody was like really welcoming, and joined our good mood
yeah. So
celebration. So, but yeah, to be honest, like at first we had some concerns. Maybe we are too too not aggressive. I don't know how to too relaxed. Maybe that would be the right
no,
word.
yeah, I think the general concern would be if you're just too salesy. It doesn't matter what kind of
Oh
sales.
yeah, yeah.
If
Okay.
a company is too salesy or too much into marketing speak, and when I say
Hmm.
marketing speak, I basically mean any type of sentences that you use and you listen to, and at the end of that sentence you go like, well, what does that really mean? I know that's
Hmm.
selling whatever features you have, but what do I get from that? That's a fine line to walk on, to learn where that is in the WordPress community. You said you've been to three WordCamp Asia, WordCamp Europe, and WordCamp
Yes, yes.
US.
As
You
a spawn,
sponsored
yeah.
only
Yes,
the last two or all three?
all three. Yes,
Oh,
all three this year. Yeah, yeah.
and
All
you
the
mentioned
flagships.
there's a difference in crowd, and I'm quite curious to learn what you perceive that difference to be.
So from kind of our point of view, at least, like yeah, in the crowd. So in Asia, there were quite many like agencies and freelance developers who just do sell their professional services on WordPress, and WordPress they use it WordPress as a tool. In Europe, we met like way more people who actually contribute, and who are more, let's say, open source enthusiasts, and
Yeah.
WordPress as an open source tool enthusiast. And seems like they are just gathering there and meeting fellow like-minded people, fellow people. They like talk way more about like the core, where WordPress goes, etc. And US was again like more like agencies that have WordPress and utilize WordPress as a tool, developers, etc. Less enthusiasts, and then more, if we could say, like more commercial minded and business minded,
Yeah.
etc. And more
Yeah.
more talks, more like straight to the point about it. Okay, so do you do revenue share, do etc. Let's talk business.
Yeah.
But I guess it's kind of like where what the United States in general is famous for, very
I
how
think
to say,
you
business minded. So that's our experience so far.
I think you hit the nail on the head with, so I haven't been to WordCamp Asia. I don't know the
Yeah.
vibe other than I know people who went there and were very
Okay.
enthusiastic about the event and
So
the event there. But
for
US,
me, like Asia felt like more like US, less than Europe, at least my personal take.
yeah, yeah, and then so I only know WordCamp US and WordCamp Europe. I don't know if you know, but I am one of the co-founders of WordCamp Europe. So been there
Heard it.
doing it since 2013, and up until last year, always have been part in some way of the organization. So you kind of know what vibe there is and what you want to have and continue and facilitate. I've been to quite a few WordCamp USs as well. In general, I share what you just said. There's a more businessy feel to it,
Yeah.
more to the point. Like, I'm here. Show me what you why
Yeah.
why are you sponsoring? What are you bringing?
Pitch me.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, I think that's probably it. Pitch me. What else? Tell me about it. So this is the first year I wore my T-shirt that said Scanfully, and
Uh-huh.
literally people who I've known for more than a decade walk up to you and go like, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing? It's been a while." All of that, and then the very next question after the pleasantries is like, "What's that? What is that? What you
What
doing?"
do you do?
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
like, "Have you not seen me online already talking about it?" "No, no, man. Come on, tell me. What do you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I did the same thing in Europe, in Torino. Way less people asking about that component, which I was like, "Oh, this
Mhm.
is solidifying my assumption on how things are different." Certainly, walking around in Portland for a couple of days, like,
Mhm.
huh, interesting. It sounds the same. It feels the same in many regards, but it's a different crowd. That's always an interesting learning to see. And I bet growing a company like you do, you encounter and have to navigate around all these types of intricacies. Like, this works well here, does not work there. Need to do this all the
Exactly.
time. How do you keep track
Think
of
so.
that?
How do we keep track of that?
Yeah.
Of It's a good point. I mean, so one thing is specialization. I mean, at our size, we will already can allow ourselves to have people who will look after a little different ecosystems in this case, etc. So they kind of, they gain the knowledge and experience how to do that, how to navigate. So probably that's kind of a thing, if there is like just one person who is responsible for like everything. Then of course it's so difficult to change your like modus operandi. But if you have this kind of like a bit more specialization, so that's how you can do that. And certain people gain certain knowledge, experience, relationship, etc. And
Is this a marketing department primarily?
in our case, probably yes. Yeah, it's. I mean, and as you kind of nailed it like really well about like challenges. So one is like marketing challenge, how to present yourself in front of the eyes of WordPress community in this case,
Mm.
and the second is like technical, like how to do the best integration, how
So
how to
that was my
make it
follow-up question.
yeah, make it secure, make it work, provide the best customer experience, like for standalone, for hosted WordPress users, etc., etc. So there are kind of those two aspects, and they go together. But at the same time, you have to nail both of them. They are equally important.
Yeah.
Like like technical like discussion we had, and now we chose this path. Like we have multiple integrations. We want to really be deeply integrated into the ecosystem, and whatever stack you use on WordPress, that Omnisend could work really, really well integrated and well orchestrated, within your stack. So one of the discussions that we had, like, and that met a lot of people to really to listen, to ask for advice, etc. Shall we make just one super plugin, to cover all the integrations, or shall we make many multiple like smaller plugins? Like we just launched this, for example, Lifter LMS. Yes, shall it be a standalone plugin, Omnisend Lifter LMS connector, or shall it be just one super plugin at Omnisend and then connects there? We chose multiple plugins. We'll see in the future. Was it the best decision?
Would you say that there's a difference in because culturally and from what the general customer walking around at a WordCamp in US is different from Europe and Asia?
Mm.
Would you say that there's a technical requirement or preference list as well? Like, I don't know, Do the Americans want the more businessy, less UX, more straightforward things as well? Do you get that kind of feedback, or?
No, probably we have never faced it yet. I mean, although like we are a European company established in Europe and headquartered in Europe, but like vast majority of our customers are in the United States. Half of our business is actually coming from the US. So we have a team of 30-ish people in the States as well present there. But yeah, so, the product is being built mainly for the US market, because the second largest market for us is the UK, but like really, really far behind the size and magnitude of the US. But at the same time, to be honest, we don't like see like massive differences in like technical needs or technical or like, features or enablement needs. Not only technical, but like what our customers expect. There are some regulatory differences. Let's say SMS really works well in the United States and Canada, mainly because in this case, which is super rare, US regulated it more than Europe, and they did it first. So not sure if the European Union will follow or not. So basically, the fact that in the United States and Canada, it's so easy to unsubscribe from SMS communication, so people are more willing to opt in, because it's mandatory and it's just a standard. If you receive promotional SMS message, you subscribe. So any service provider should support the ability to reply with just a stop word, and you will unsubscribe.
Yep.
And it's kind of like the common knowledge. Every consumer knows that, okay, it's more safe for me to subscribe it because it's equal to email in this case. I know that if I'm not willing to receive any more messages from this specific like sender from this specific brand, it's going to be very easy for me to opt out. And Europeans are a little bit more concerned about giving my phone number for the brand, for the business, because they have some like maybe not pleasant experiences, but we sometimes subscribe for SMS communication, and there's no way to really opt out. They just keep sending you, keep spamming you, etc. And of course, there are brands that apply bad practice. Bad guys are everywhere. So that's probably kind of the main difference. Just adoption of SMS is way high in the United States in comparison to Europe.
I did prior to WordCamp US, I did a road trip with. So I lived in the United States in 1990, 91. High school there, graduated, and one of my high school buddies joined me in my road trip from Kansas City to Portland.
Nice. Okay.
And I was shocked by the number of messages and phone calls he got on his phone, which were, I think the vast majority, probably 95% were promotional, like in some way or another, like whether they were asking him to sign for some campaign or get him to vote on this, sell this. And he brushed it off as like, yeah, that's what it is. I'd go crazy if you send me my stuff. My phone is my sea of tranquility. This is how it's supposed to look. No notifications. I'm holding up my phone for those who are not watching, but no notifications. Nothing comes through if I don't want you. And he was like, no, man, this is normal. And like,
this is how it works.
But it's
That's true.
To hear that you confirming this, that we as Europeans, and certainly me as Dutch, are very reluctant to hand over my phone number. Like if a company has a form, I'm purchasing something there, and the company has a form where they ask for my phone number. I'm like, do you need my phone number? Just here to purchase this. You don't need my phone number. You have my email address because I need the invoice and all that. What do you need my phone number? I don't get it. That is my default thought. Like
That's like Dutch and Germans are very famous for that they're really
oh, really?
privacy concerned. Yeah, if talking about Europeans. So that's what we see actually, like from our customer base, etc. That people's, how to say, attitude towards like privacy in general are completely like different in different countries. So Asia is probably the most relaxed. Stuff in Europe is similar, just okay. I mean, whatever. I give away my email address, my phone number. I think in the States is somewhere in between, etc. But in general, kind of like GDPR in Europe and the regulations in the States, they are kind of quite strict. But at the same time, service providers like Omnisend, alongside with service providers like Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft with its Outlook, etc., does a really good job by filtering all the spam. So, and we do that, they do that. So basically your inbox is left quite clean, I would say, in comparison to what it used to be like 20 years ago, etc. There were no filters, and basically anyone who got your email address could send, could spam you. So
And I
so
did.
still there's like an enormous amount of spammy messages that are being sent or like initiated to send, but just a very, very small fraction of those truly land in people's inboxes.
Yeah.
So I think it's again, but it's in favor of this marketing channel, because it's still like super effective email, SMS, those channels that people are obtaining, subscribing. That is usually the relationship between the customer and the brand is completely different. You know,
I can see that.
I mean, but by subscribing, you say that, okay, I trust your brand, and
Yeah.
you know about what you said about like phone numbers. So that's just, you know, one advice for our listeners. Let's see, the pop-ups is the most effective way to collect subscribers. Some people say, okay, I don't like pop-ups; they're, you know, intrusive, etc. So, but they work. And what we advise for our customers is really to make it like two-step. So initially you ask for email address, you already get a subscriber. And in the second step, you additionally ask for phone number or for like push notification, opt-in, etc., permission to send. So like, you know, and a lot of people, less of people subscribe for SMS communication in comparison to the people who subscribe for email communication. So this two-step form is really the way to go. And you don't scare people with asking too many information at once. And they have an option.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I think if I were to leave a phone number, it would have to be a brand that I'm more than happy. Like, you can have all my data. It's fine. I love it. And and there are a few brands where I'm less picky with what I send their way. I'm like, I you know, use my data, because the more data you have of me, the better my experience with you is, and I like what you're doing anyway.
True. But anyway, so I think it's very kind of like you nailed it, and it's very important. And sometimes again, people ask, okay, oh, I don't read emails. Come on, I don't read newsletters. All of us read, but just there are brands, certain brands that we trust, that we will purchase from them either way, and we subscribe to the communication, and we're really happy to receive it. And the habits are different. Some people just subscribe for 5 newsletters, maybe, and that's enough for them because they don't want to interact with more brands. But there are some people who subscribe to many brands. They are kind of more trusting, you know, and give more credit for the brand.
Is that changing over? Because
you
you've
know,
been doing this for 10 years now.
yes.
Has that behavior in general, has that been changing in some way or not?
No, we didn't see any kind of consumer behavior. With young generation, it changes. That kind of they are more, while they're still young, they are more in chats, but not in email. But
Yep.
when they find a job, and that's where we get
Yeah.
familiarized with what email is. So
Yeah.
basically, that's kind of like maybe in the past, like any despite of your age, email was kind of default communication channel. So which is not the case for teenagers now. But either way, kind of as we mainly serve those who sell online, so the buying power is not in the hands of teenagers. Still, the best customers are like 30 plus. But
Yeah.
customers of our customers, those people who have buying power, they spend way more money. The average basket size is way bigger. Retention is better, etc. So that's probably kind of the one thing that is changing. The other thing is what is changing, which is I think is a very, very good trend. So more and more companies really automate their marketing communication. So instead of just compiling each time new newsletter to what the marketer thinks that he or she wants to tell for the audience, is really to like putting all the automations in place. So if there is a trigger that Remkus is visiting our website, looking at those specific products, cool, we see it, we initiate the campaign, and it's being done full automatically. So let's say last year, I don't have statistics for this year yet, but last year in 2023, 40% of all the transactions of our customers were generated by automations, basically by trigger-based messages. What is the best in this case was only 2% of messages traffic, email plus SMS combined, 2% generated 40% of
Wow.
transactions for our customers. So what does that mean? That you as a customer, consumer, you receive less marketing messages, but you just receive one time.
Yeah.
You are really welcoming it and you are happy to complete
You,
the transaction.
you almost
Less
wanted, you almost
exactly.
wanted the message. Ah, that's interesting.
Exactly. So I mean, so this is kind of the big vision of since the very inception of Omnisend, that someone someday could entire marketing activities could be automated, and that means that it will be way more relevant marketing, way less marketing traffic, which is beneficial for you as a consumer. But of course, it comes with exchange of some of your private data, because all the
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
email, your phone number, your behavior online, it's being tracked with your permission, of course. But that's what helps you to keep your inbox in this case cleaner.
Yeah. Curiosity, because when you say automation, so for instance, I have a newsletter, right? So when you subscribe to that newsletter, I send out a hi,
Hmm.
getting to know you, asking to reply if you have questions or you want to share who you
Hmm.
are. That's a base one. For our Scanfully, when you sign up, you either for the trial, you get a bunch of automations, like there's a drip
Hmm.
campaign,
Yes.
depending on what you click on, I enrich that. And if you have that, then you get an extra email,
Hmm.
that's your base automations. Is that the sort of thing you're referring to, or are
Yeah.
there
Yeah. Yeah.
more
Very good.
complex things as well, like a very confident version of what you could do? Because
So, like, is it complex? No, each automation is not like super complex. Like, where it comes to a bit complexity, then you always should think through the customer life cycle. So basically, again, like mainly those who sell online and like Scanfully and then So you welcome upon sign up, upon first interaction with your product, demo, whatever. So different kinds of. So of course, to welcome, that's very important. Then just one single welcome message. It's okay for the content providers, but for products, for those who sell online something, either service or product, or physical products or digital products, there's a purpose of this welcoming message, and we suggest to send series, not the single message. As a drip campaign, the automations, few. And they could be educational. They could be with very specific call to action to convert into maybe paying customer, etc. Then others, like for those who sell online, it's very important really like to spot on when the person is engaging with your website. So abundant browse abandonment, abundant cart. So we can identify, I mean, just looking at various pages of your website, but didn't even put anything in your shopping cart. Then you could put something in the shopping cart. Then this is the massive drop that people initiate the transaction. They start the payment, but they do not complete the payment. So this is kind
does
of,
that
we
happen a
call it
lot?
check. Yeah, a lot. It's like around 70% or so. So it's a massive drop there. So like the
Oh, wow.
automation there to try to kind of, to restore at least part of this, it's very important. People just drop, and the reasons are so different. Sometimes it's like lack of funds in your cart. Sometimes cart, like, is not accepted. Sometimes you do it at work, and your colleague or your boss comes into the office, and that's why you abandon the transaction,
What are you
etc. And
doing?
it's what do we do? Oh no,
That
nothing. I'm just
that does
writing this
not look
long
like work.
email. So like this, and with purchase, what is very important is like again post-purchase experience, and like where SMS works really well. So it's in the post purchase. Okay, so thanks you for buying. We have dispatched. It's on the way. Ask for the review. Or
Yeah.
we know that you received, like you bought like 7 days ago, etc. So how did you like a product? The best what you can do if there is a dissatisfied customer who evaluates like 1 out of whatever 5 or 10, to have it connected to your support team if you have one. Yeah, and reach out practically. Then the human gets in. and says, okay, we saw that you weren't happy with the experience, you weren't happy with product you just received. Okay, how can we fix it, etc. And then after that, it's really, if we have a data that Remkus was purchasing every 3 months. He's not doing this anymore for 4 months already. Could be he could be on vacation. He will be traveling to WordCamp. That really
Very
is
likely.
very yeah. But there is likelihood that you maybe chose like another provider to purchase the same things that you used to do from us. So let's do a reactivation campaign. We missed you. How are you doing? Okay, this is maybe a special offer for you, one-off discount.
Yeah.
So, then combining all of those, and then could be very a lot of different those automations, which by itself, each of them is not very complicated, but when you put it on the full map, it really becomes a super powerful tool.
Yeah.
And with Omnisend, we have all set for you. So all the best practice, if you sell online, all the best practice of the market is embedded in the product. So that's kind of like, again, that was our dream or like vision of the product since the very beginning, that we have to make it. And I really liked in Torino in WordCamp in Europe when Matt was presenting and he showed the slide. Simple things should be simple and difficult things should be possible, about like philosophy of WordPress as a tool. So just made a picture, sent to our product people, said, wow, I like this. I like this.
Yeah.
That's how we actually think about building the product as well.
I like it. And I can hear the enthusiasm about it. Obviously it's your company, so you'd expect some enthusiasm, but no, but I mean, automations is one of those examples where if you're not familiar with what that actually means in the complexity, or is it even complex?
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of potential.
And
We're doing those drip campaigns for the trials, and once you're on board,
Mhm.
we also do another drip campaign, so you get to know the product better. So we make sure that you've seen the most important features and understand how to use them. Those
Great
are
examples.
yeah, those are base, right? So I think you
Mhm.
get a whole bunch of interesting ideas on how to further engage. Would you say
And
that?
even let's say, and even like post-purchase transaction, that's what I advise always, like for marketers or like e-commerce managers, that you know the fact that you show the care that okay, we already packed you, we dispatched, etc. So this is the opportunity not to directly convert the customer that just purchased from you, but
Yeah,
basically to interact and to bring your brand in front of the eyes of a customer
yeah, I
for
get it.
many more times. And then, just, that's how marketing works. You have to repeat your brand for the customers. And this is a great opportunity. It does not convert right away, but it's a very powerful tool in the mid and long term. And this is where you can actually send SMS as well. And those SMSs are super welcoming by the audience here,
Oh, okay, interesting. No, but I think
because they're not promotional. They
exactly.
show
I think
that the
the
brand
key
care
here
about you.
is not promotional. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Exactly.
interesting. I should probably ask for people's phone numbers and send out the newsletters. Oh, hey, did you happen to? I noticed you didn't open it yet. Did you? That's probably too creepy, but if what I hear from you, it sounds like that's something I could do.
Of course, and our customers do that. Okay, we maybe don't stay that we see that you did not open our
Yeah, yeah,
email,
yeah.
but they actually filter out only those who did not open email, and then
Yeah.
they send only for them with a message. Look, there is something waiting for you in your inbox. There is a good offer. There is something like your new collection, presentation, etc. Check out your inbox.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
I get it. I get it.
yeah, no. So definitely you can do it.
So that's already in the works, right? You have that in place. What are some big features you're working on? Like, do you see like a whole bunch of new features do you have a long list of new features you're waiting to implement?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How does this work? Yeah, okay.
Always. So the big chunk which is coming soon, it's reporting. So we like our reporting was a bit outdated and not as in depth as our customers ask and expect it to be. So this fall, maybe end of the year, still, as always, takes a bit longer than expected, as we already discussed at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like absolutely brand new reporting will be in place till the end of this year. So really happy to see that. This is the most requested by our customers too. So there will be way more capabilities to analyze everything by different angles, etc. That's a big thing. And another big thing is we're working, of course, AI. It's inevitable, So putting like some little help, to write the copy. It's already in place. To convert email into SMS, long text of email into short text of SMS. It helps to write subject lines, to test subject lines, etc. Yeah, basically. So, and that's what we tried, and that's the learning that we implemented. That okay, would our customers want for us or AI to compose entire email? No. Would they like to have just a help with like writing copy, editing images? Yes.
Maybe a little grammar here and there.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of that is our learning, because we launched initially this, okay, we'll compose your email. Adoption rate was very low. Then we just cut into like small chunks, just assistance here, assistance there, etc. Which is being like way more welcomed by our customers, this approach. So we definitely will continue that.
Yeah, I've seen AI solutions that offer to write my newsletter for me. I'm like, how would you? I mean, here are my resources. How do you turn that into, sure, you can use my tone of voice, but there's no way in hell that you're going to write an email with what I wanted in there in my tone of voice and have, it's not happening. AI is as I see it now, it's a brainstorm tool. It's an assistance tool. It's all of these things. It's not a general tool in totality.
Yeah. So we have like even, yeah, true. And we have like two free tools, subject line generator and subject line tester. They are free of charge. They're free of charge for anyone. You should not be even an Omnisend customer. So, and they're really welcomed by in general marketers who do email marketing.
So on the subject of WordPress and your integrations with, you mentioned Lifted LMS, you mentioned WooCommerce. How close are you watching what happens there as future developments? Do you need to be even? Is
like that in WordPress, you mean, in the core, or?
Well, of course, for WooCommerce, Lifted LMS.
Yes.
Do you have special relationships with the developers of any of these types of solutions in WordPress, or how does that work?
We do have a relationship, but probably kind of more relationship on the business side than on developers. Developers, we kind of just, transactional while we write integration, while we need to maintain the really good quality of and a bunch of forms like WS forms, Gravity forms, and OptinMonster, etc. So a lot of like integrations where you can collect either subscribers and then use Omnisend to deliver messages, or where you can sell some. Yeah, so a lot of tools that really help to sell. So it's usually kind of on quite transactional level of it, to ensure the best quality of two products working together. But usually you do it once. Sorry?
On WordPress level itself, is there any special thing you need to do there or not? Or does it kind of just happen? And
it is. So kind of each platform, including WordPress, is a little bit different. Yeah. So some kind of either capabilities, or how the data is being stored, how can you process it, etc. So it varies. It's not kind of like a universal thing that we did once, etc. So on that level, it is you have to definitely adapt to the platform. And in WordPress case, so there was probably kind of like the biggest challenge is a bit like versions, because as everyone, we have customers who use like already very old WordPress versions. We have to work smoothly there, and the ones who are always updating to the newest version, and you have to support it for sure, just right out of the box while it's being released.
I take it you're also working with Shopify?
Yes.
I mean, I take it, I know, I've read it.
Yeah. Shopify, WooCommerce, Wix, other platforms, yes.
Right. So the good example of, you don't necessarily know the version of Shopify it's running on.
Yes.
You just have to make it work. Is that a challenge on the WordPress side of things? Because technically we have about 3 versions per year.
It's a bit of a challenge, yeah. it's a bit of a challenge to really make all those different versions work smoothly. Yeah, sometimes it causes like some discrepancies in data exchange, etc., or like how the product functions. And apparently, like after digging deeper, what is the reason, you realize, okay, this is very specific for this version, but not even like applicable for other versions. So um, so on one hand, it's good that basically if there is some kind of like malfunction in the product caused by like this specific version, so it does not apply to all the customers, which is good. At the same time, it's more difficult to spot and to ensure the quality because you can't test everything with each and single version. So basically, you still develop for the newest version and comply with the rest versions. But it's always difficult. Sometimes, okay, not always, but sometimes difficult not to break things.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you on that one. I mean, backwards compatibility is of high importance for any version of WordPress. WooCommerce as well, but I would say less to some degree.
Mhm.
And there are breaking
Agree.
changes every now and then. There are also breaking changes every now and then. It doesn't help either. But the team is working very hard on improving on that. But um, I have one final question, and that is towards where do you hope WordPress, and I'm including WooCommerce in this because I know it's a large part of your crowd. Where do you hope this is going to go in the next couple of years?
I hope that WordPress will be capable to compete with all those do-it-yourself editors and platforms, which I mean, so there's a lot of like talks, and basically this narrative is quite maybe not dominating, but important in WordPress, and I think it is really important, yeah, because attracting like newer generations, like younger generation, etc., and then building the maybe pivot is not the right word, but just evolution to go that way to be as much user friendly and as much as UX wise, smooth UX, etc. for non-developers to be capable to use WordPress. I think this is like very important, and I see that WordPress is going that way, so which is great. So really hope that it will continue, and it will really timely be able to transform itself.
So that's an interesting answer, because that basically you're saying the site editor with the blocks and everything for that journey to be even more successful than it currently is, in a way that it invites the crowd that we're currently missing that is going elsewhere.
Well, yes, that's what I would say.
Yeah, interesting. I see that. I think that is the biggest challenge, and it's also I think the challenge we're not solving correctly at the moment. I've long advocated for having a release of WordPress be just solely focused on fixing stuff. The only thing it's doing is fixing stuff, not introducing anything new, fixing stuff. And that includes UX. Because I think a lot of the UX in our current version, and when you're listening to this, our current version is 6.6. There's just like, if in the site editor you want to add a menu, you can. My word, that is a horrible experience. Like things like that, right? Fix those things. Make it that everybody really understands. It's intuitive now. I don't have to think about it. I think we're missing that currently. No, good.
Yeah. So so maybe just like you like nailed it. So UX part. So like fundamental, it's a great,
Yeah.
a very powerful and very great, good quality product. But UX is probably the biggest challenge for the future and the biggest opportunity at the same time.
I 100% agree with you. Thank you so much for this interview, for this conversation. I've learned a lot, and I hope our listeners do as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks.